All right, how's everyone doing? I am Rich CELENZA. Thanks for tuning into the Rich CELENZA show. So, what I want to talk about today or bring up is, are you a crammer? And you may be like, what the hell are you talking about again, Rich? But, I've been doing some videos on my YouTube channel regarding fitness. And I kind of brought up a lot of people that work out trying to cram their workouts throughout their week and then kind of do nothing on the weekends and maybe consider working out on a Saturday and Sunday or one or the other. Because a lot of times people are trying to fit workouts in during the week and then a lot of them miss their workouts or just can't fit them in. So instead of cramming them in, you may consider going even Friday night, hypothetically, if you're not doing anything. Maybe getting a workout in Friday night and maybe Sunday. That's 2 days or one night that you may not have anything going on. Maybe you do. I don't know. But it made me really think about in life because, I've traveled a lot. I've dealt with a lot of different people in my life. And I realized even when I traveled with other people and seeing how they live their life, a lot of things they do, they're trying to cram so much in, say from 9 to 5. I'm just going to use for an example, just because it's kind of simple. And they're cramming all these things in from the minute they wake up to basically they want everything done a lot of times, say at 5 or 6 o'clock. And then after they eat dinner, they have all this extra time from, say, I don't know what time they go to bed, but say 6:37 to 10 or midnight, where they just sit on a couch and they don't do much. Or they may just, I don't know what they do. They're just not doing anything else with the other hours they have throughout the day. I talk about this on my podcast and my videos, even from working out standpoint. If you work out for an hour a day, it's only 4% of your day. That sounds crazy that you don't have an hour, 4% of your day to work out for your health. If you don't have that, if you don't want to work out, it's one thing. But if you don't want to take out 4% of your day to help your health, then, I don't really feel sorry for you when you start having health complications because, that just shows me that 24 hours a day, you're just not taking your health into consideration. That doesn't mean you have to work out by any means. You may eat well, you may do other things to help your health. I'm just saying if you do want to work out and you're coming up with excuses. But that same type of, idea, that 4% 1 hour, 2 hours, 8% of your day, you have to do a lot of, you have the time to do a lot of things that you probably want to do. You're either too lazy or you're not figuring it out correctly. You're not understanding your scheduling. And I just did a podcast on this, how people create these schedules that are kind of weird. And for some reason, they have schedules that work against them instead of helping them, which I never understood because a lot of times you're kind of only looking at a schedule where you're, again, cramming, or you're just extremely, busy and you just have to add more and more and more into this certain time frame where you have this other time where you can utilize it. And I don't know how people got programmed this way because I see more and more people at night, especially with Netflix, especially with just Hulu, and I don't want to just blame them networks. I don't care if it's HBO. I don't care if it's just television in general, cable or satellite, all the different things you can watch. But I see so many people, and I even catch myself doing this, say, especially with football. I'll just use this for an example too. My girlfriend loves college football. She likes to sit around and watch college football on Saturdays, which is fine, mainly the Oregon Ducks. They're usually on the West Coast, so their games can run actually later at night, so she doesn't have to worry throughout the day, but she may want to catch other games. I like to watch football on Sundays. And it's quite interesting because when I don't have football season, how different my life is compared to when it is. But I still tape the games. So, for instance, yesterday the Bears were playing, so I went out to dinner with my family for my sister's birthday. We all went to a restaurant, and then I had my girlfriend tape the football games because I don't necessarily like to watch all the commercials. But I do sit around on Sundays now, for the football season more than I ever do. But put that aside, if you want to save time, I'll just use this for example. Just say recording your shows. If you like to watch an hour show or an hour episode of just regular television that does have commercials, you realize that 20 of those minutes are kind of wasted. Even if you're watching a sporting event, say it's 3.5 hours, there's probably only going to be 2.5 hours there to watch. It may not seem like a lot. Times that at the end of the month I talk about. You save an hour here, an hour there, before you know it, it's 30 hours. But you got to really pay attention to this. Because again, back to cramming. Not only do I think cramming is ridiculous as far as saying trying to fit everything into a certain amount of time, it takes a toll on you physically and mentally. And again, I don't know why people do this. I remember when I was younger too, when people would cram for, if they had a test the next day and they didn't study throughout the week. Now, I was not a very good student by any means, so I didn't cram nor did I study, so I'm not going to bullshit anybody. But again, if you had, say, a month to prepare for something, or 2 weeks, or even a week, and then you've got to just say stay up all night to cram for a test. Now, if that worked for you, God bless. But I think that kind of is the mindset a lot of us live to a certain degree. Cramming a lot of shit in throughout the day, throughout the week, where it's either feast or famine. So it's either you're super busy, super crazy, or then you want to relax and have nothing to do. I get that. But in what I like to do, more or less, is kind of coast through it all. I don't want to get caught up cramming. For one, I don't enjoy things when I'm cramming. And I think also a lot of people just cram shit in just to get it over with and really not learn about what they're doing or get the most out of what they're doing. Back to, I'll just use working out just for an example. If you are cramming your workouts, a lot of times they may be just too short. You may not be getting results because of that reason. Or you may be cramming things in where you're not getting the most out of, say you lift weights. You're not getting, you're not taking enough breaks in between your sets because you have to get in and out in 45 minutes. Just saying. It may not be realistic. And again, what you're doing, you can cause an injury. If you may consider, and I've discussed this before, maybe working out at night where you're not so rushed, or again, the weekends, or getting creative to say, hey, what do I truly love to do? Or the things I'm doing, I'm not just cramming them in to cram them in. I'm doing them because, I want to put more time and effort into them. And I don't think a lot of people do that. And I've been, I had to really learn this even when I was traveling a lot, because I had to cram a lot of things in. When you're traveling, it's brutal. Not only just getting to the airport, getting on your flight, catching your flight, grabbing a rental car, or getting in an Uber Lyft, getting to wherever you have to get into, then doing your work. All those things, I really had to say, wait a minute here. I'm cramming a lot in my day. Some of my days would start at 6, 7 in the morning, and they're not ending at 1, 2 in the morning, let's just say. But I could still fit in a workout, possibly even if it's late at night, or I go to a 24-hour fitness gym that's open. Also, instead of really just getting creative and saying, okay, when I'm on the plane, I know I can't do this, but when I'm off the plane, I can do this. When I'm in the hotel, I have time to do this. But when I'm working, I don't have time to do this. I think you get the point. What I'm saying is, if you look at your life like that and say, let me break up the increments and make sure, one, I always talk about getting the proper amount of rest. But again, a lot of people, I think, may be sleeping too long. It seems like a lot of people have a problem getting the proper amount of rest for themselves. You may only need 7 hours. You may need 9. I don't know what it is. But some people, maybe even on the weekends, you may be sleeping a lot more. But my point being is, again, figuring all these things out where your schedule works for you, not against you, is really what I'm trying to say there. So, yeah, I just thought I would bring this up because I just don't, it shocks me still, a lot of my family members, friends, and colleagues, all the cramming they're always doing. And they go, especially if I'm on the East Coast or in Chicago or like the city environment, San Francisco, LA, it's always so, for me, it's almost anxiety where it's got to be go, 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 go. And then it's almost like they crash. I get sometimes you have to go, go, go. And you have to do certain things throughout the day. You have to get them done. I get it. But man, living like that, for me consistently, is just so not me. That's one of the things I loved about going to Italy, which I'm not saying Italy's better than our country or not. Just the chill aspect to a certain degree, and it's kind of spread throughout the entire day, which I like. Even eating later at night or even taking a nap throughout the day, I still got so much done there, but I didn't have to cram it in a shorter amount of time, I guess you could say. So I really enjoy that. And even like when I went to Malibu, which is, if you go to Hawaii, but it was quite interesting to be in two different spots in Hawaii where, if you go to Honolulu, it's just a different lifestyle. It's kind of like South Beach, I think, to a certain degree. But then when you're in Maui, and again, I get there two totally different atmospheres. But what I was doing there, even work related, I just had a whole different disposition on it, on how I was doing it, and just scheduling it. Because I think it's not only the setting, it's kind of like if you compare New York to Florida, they're two opposite worlds, especially if you go Manhattan, say, to Florida. And I always said Florida's like, it's kind of like living in a tropical island to a certain degree, even though it isn't, but it is. But, I can get the same amount of things done too in New York that I really can in Florida. But then again, the way I enjoy it, I guess you could say, in Florida is a lot different. Also in Florida, even though Manhattan, you're on an island there, obviously, but you're cramming and cramming and cramming, you get a lot done because, maybe, what you're doing, I should say, you could get a lot done because they have everything there. Florida may be a little more dragged out the day because things aren't as close. You just can't jump in an Uber, Lyft, run the building to building, or do those type of things. But, if you are somebody who is cramming, you just may want to just take a look at your life and say, why am I living this lifestyle? Why am I trying to constantly fit all this in this amount of time when I actually have more time, in utilizing, I guess, that time? So just thought I would do a podcast on that. I'm going to wrap it up there. If you get a chance, check out my YouTube channel. I'm doing a lot of different things on there, obviously related to fitness, but I also do different stuff traveling all over North America. I visited my favorite gyms, my favorite restaurants, coffee houses, restaurants, mainly Italian, and malls. I'm also on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You have any comments or questions, hit me up. All right, take care.